Hello, I'm Darren the Magic Ghostbuster, and in this video I'm taking a look back at the Matty Collector PKE Meter. This was released in 2010, which just blows my mind how long ago that was now. Absolutely insane. Now, back in the day, I got the PKE Meter, the trap, the neutrona wand and the goggles. And one of my big regrets as a collector was, first of all, I sold the neutrona wand to fund something else. Because they were going for a lot of money back then. I think I might have sold it for about £350, £400. And then the PKE meter I modded, the goggles I modded, the trap I modded, and of course they were going for a lot of money as well. Luckily, very recently they came out very cheap. I got this for £100. I also bought the neutrona wand and the goggles. Paid £150 for the wand, £100 for the goggles, which is, you know, pretty much what they would have cost back in the day. I would have paid a little bit more to import them and all that. One of the problems this had was this didn't ship internationally, or certainly didn't ship to the UK. I can't remember what other countries were excluded. I believe it didn't ship to anywhere in Europe because I can't remember exactly. It was something to do with the CE marks, I think, couldn't be put on the meter itself because there was not enough room, so it wouldn't ship to anywhere in Europe. I don't know about the rest of the world, but very annoying, so we had to go to a third party to get these, so we ended up paying a little bit more. So real bargain here, and I think it just shows how the market has massively dropped since the Hasbro 2 in the box campaign. To get this for £100, I mean, they were going for hundreds and hundreds. So, but anyway, let's take a look at it. So they came in these white mailer boxes, all the Matty Collector stuff did. So white box, basic Ghostbusters logo, text and what was inside, and then you had some of the copyright stuff on the bottom. And then the actual box was inside. Now, I really liked the packaging for the Matty Collector props. Or actually, to be honest, you know, I have issues with some of the Matty Collector stuff. I think they were an absolute awful company, which is probably why they're not around anymore. But one of my favourite things about their stuff was the packaging. I personally have all the figures that have come since. I still think their figures have the packaging, and I really like the packaging on these. That's not to say the packaging on the Hasbro wand was bad, just prefer this style. Obviously, people are going to disagree with me, and some people will agree with me, but what do you prefer? Let me know. So, obviously, it's to look like a crate, like a shipping crate, which I really like. It's got a Ghostbusters logo all around. It's pretty much the same all around. And then you have these warning stickers. So the first one is the red one. It says, if overcome by feelings of dread, discontinue use. Contains unlicensed and untested psychokinetic equipment. Do not point directly into eyes. Do not use in shower. So important safety tips there. And then what we got, warning. Will explode in areas of immense psychic energy. If a portal to a parallel dimension or free-roaming vaporous four-torso apparition is discovered, contact your local EPA administrator. Don't recommend contacting the EPA. And so that's the same all the way around. And then these lids literally just popped off. And then inside here were these foam, what do you call them? I don't know what you call those things. Now let's tip these into this white box so I don't have to pick loads up off the floor later. So we'll just tip those in there. Try and be a little tidy for a change. Okay, so then inside is the PKE meter. Now, this was the first ever officially licensed prop that was ever released. If you're going to include, you know, real Ghostbusters Kenner toys, but this was the first proper prop that's ever released. And obviously, before this came out, people were making props. People were making traps, proton packs, and there were people making PK meters, but it was a less common prop. And this is what it come like. Now, I believe there's a manual. There we go. There's the manual. So let's take a look at all of this. Let's move the box out of the way. So there is the PKE meter itself, and I still think, at the moment at least, it's still the best PKE meter you can buy if you can find one. Since this was released, obviously we've had Spirit Halloween and Rubies doing their versions, which are good. I just feel like this one is just a bit better, just feels a bit better quality. But then, you know, that's reflected in the price of what they cost when they originally came out. But as you can see, it's a really nice model. It does have the copyright stuff there, and they gave it a little bit of weathering, so not too much, just around the edges. Now, like I said, I modded mine. I didn't do anything too massive to the exterior. So this is the one I actually use when I'm out and about. And as you can see, I never added any more weathering to this, but it's just gotten natural weathering over time. So you can see a massive difference on the handle there, certainly. And you can see where it's worn more on the edges. And certainly the handle, you can see massive differences there. So that's worn a lot over time. And what I like about it is that it was obviously moulded in silver, or there's like a silver undercoat, because that natural weathering has just revealed silver underneath, which I really like. Now, of course, the actual prop was made from a Iona shoe polish, I think I've said that name right, which was red. So I guess realistically, if the paint chips off, it would actually be red, because these wouldn't be metal, they're plastic. Even the prop was plastic. But I just really like the look of it. And like I said, that's all natural weathering. I'm just using it at conventions. I've been using this for 13 years now, I guess. Yes, 2010, yeah, 13 years. And I guess that's mainly just sliding it in and out of the holster, really. Yeah, but there was one other mod which we'll get to very shortly. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot one thing I did do. I put stickers over the copyright as well. One sticker fell off there. I remember back in the day there were people who sanded that off and gave it a complete respray. That was a bit too much for me. I just put stickers over it. I thought that was easy enough. But one other thing was, it came with these stickers, and that was to put over the screw holes if you didn't like the screw holes. Didn't bother me, the screw holes. I think I remember seeing people fill them in and all that, but I just think, you know, if this was a real product, it's going to have screw holes to hold it together, so whatever. Anyway, so you get a manual, and it shows you all the different stuff. So, dear Ghostbusters in training, no, this is not a shoe polisher. It is in fact a device used to locate and measure psychokinetic energy. Armed with a PKE meter, you'll never again find yourself walking into an old apartment building or library basement unprepared. That, and it feels so good to hold one in your hand and say, "Back off, man, I'm a scientist." Have fun and remember, we're here to believe you. Venkman Inc. So, very cool. And then we've got all the different instructions there. So what I need to do now is put some batteries in it. So to put the batteries in it, you literally remove these screws. And that's what it looks like for the batteries, and you need 3 AAA batteries, which I have here ready to go. And then we'll put the backpack on. Okay, so we're ready to go, and one thing you're going to notice is the one fault I found with this when I turned it on. And that is, of course, the sound effects. This is how it came. It's just an annoying little beeping sound. And that brings me to the one mod I did on mine, which was to buy a kit back in the day. So let's turn this off, which gave us accurate sounds. And you know, it's been years since I've actually had one that made the proper, or not proper, the sounds that it came with. And I've noticed this is louder. Now I don't know if that's the kit's making it louder or if I've just got weaker batteries in this. I don't know. But let's turn that back on. So yeah, very annoying sounds. And I'm not sure what it is with PKE meters. Ruby's and Spirit Halloween couldn't get the correct sounds either. That had an annoying beeping sound. And the only one that seemed to get the correct sound that was official was the tiny little PKE meter. But anyway, so to activate, so you have these buttons. Now I'm just going to check the manual just to make sure I get the right names of the buttons, because I've been pressing them for years and I don't know what they're calling them. So, right, so L1 and R1, L2 and R2. So R2 and brings the wings up halfway. And L2 brings them up full way. And it's the same with the higher up buttons. So R1 brings them up halfway, and R2, no, L1, sorry, I'm getting the names mixed up. L1 and R1, yeah, L1 brings them up all the way, and I guess that's just preference on, you know, which is easier for you to press. I always think these ones are easier to press. Then you have this wheel on the bottom, which you can spin, so that really slows it down. And then spin it the other way. And you'll see it speeds everything up. Now, one other thing was this switch here can switch between Ghostbusters 1 mode and Ghostbusters 2 mode. So you'll see the read going down diagonally, and then if we and the light sequence on the wings is different to when we switch it to this way, and you'll see it goes across slightly and then down, and the light sequence changes on the wings as well. Or you can set it in the middle and have nothing on the screen, whichever you prefer. So like I said, I still think this is the best PKE meter that you can buy at the moment. If you can get a sound kit, makes it even better. I know the guy stopped making those years ago. If you look him up on Facebook, I can't remember the name now, I think it was just Mattel PKE Meter Mod. You never know, it might be worth sending them a message, but I'm pretty sure they stopped making those. But now obviously we've got the Hasbro one coming out, so the crowdfunding's ended for that, and it's due out the end of this year. I imagine that will end up being better than this. I feel like they did a much better job with the wand, and hopefully they'll do a much better job with the PKE. But then, I mean, there's not really a lot to improve upon. I mean, other than the sounds, I would say this is the perfect prop. You know, there's not really anything negative I can say about it. Like I said, other than the sounds. You know, some people are not going to like the copyright. You know, it's inintrusive. And like I said, I put a sticker over it, so it's not really an issue. And I know, like I said, some people have sanded it off. But like I said, I do think it is the perfect prop, and probably the best thing that Matty Collector made, personally. Obviously, I guess the improvement, if you think it's an improvement, is the taser mode, which is what the new version is going to have, and it's going to have the electromagnetic field reader as well, which not convinced that's going to work very well, but we shall see when it comes out. But let me know what you think of the Matty Collector PKE meter. One other thing about this was they re-released this at some point, and they basically used it not selling so well to not re-release the trap. And I'm pretty sure they used it as an excuse not to make the proton pack as well. I might be misremembering slightly. But I always said that was such a stupid way of looking at it, because the problem with this was this didn't ship outside of America, or certainly didn't ship to Europe. I know that. So that was a massive part of the market taken away. I know some people like to think that this stuff only sells in America. A lot of toy companies seem to, because that's the only places they release this stuff. But this stuff sells all over the world. And the trap did ship direct from Matty Collector to all over the world, because they managed to get all the proper markings on the bottom of the trap. It wasn't in the way so much. Whereas I guess if they had to put the markings, I mean, you've got markings there. I guess if they had to put more, they would have had to go somewhere else, which would have ruined the look of it. You know, so the trap instantly had a much bigger market, and I always think saying that this didn't sell well enough to re-release the trap was just poor business sense. Now, some people might say, what do I know? I'm not a business owner. All I can say is Matty Collector don't exist anymore, and the guy who rang it was terrible. But anyway, I'm going off on a rant. Let me know what you think of the Matty Collector PKE Meter. Do you have one? Do you prefer the Rubies / Spirit Halloween one? Maybe you prefer that. You know, all opinions are welcome. But thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we're going to look at the goggles and then the Neutrona wand. Anyway, until then, keep on busting.
Want to give a big shout out to the Magic Ghostbuster. Hey Darren, very, very impressive.